That's James's dinner for today, and mine is way better as far as I'm concerned, my salad. But I'll write up the recipe and the video details. We're going to talk about this, which got top of the stack, against many other things. So we'll talk about all of those things at some point. I don't know if we're going to talk about them all today though, because that's an awful lot of stuff to be reviewing just now. So I'll get that up there so that my camera has a little hat. It's quite sunny by times. Oh, I should show you my dress. So it's just, there's really nothing fancy about this dress. I bought this one for $2 and I'm thrilled with it because it's very light cotton and it's the perfect, it's actually the perfect length. It's good to have it just around the knees for hiking, and nice light cotton. So this is, I think this is going to be my favorite hiking dress this summer, but I don't know, we'll see. I worked out in it while I was watching this, and oh, that's terrible. The Iron Eagle, is that what it was? Anyway, while I was working out this morning, while I was watching those things, and I was wearing this to see just how hot it would be to wear this, and how, you know, easy movement. It's great. It's great to move in, and I didn't get too hot working out in this. And I worked out this morning for over 2 hours, probably 2.5 hours or so, until James came. Yeah, so, and then we went for a huge hike. Well, for Lethbridge, within Lethbridge.
Might have been a 2 hour walk.
So I walked quite a lot today already, and yeah, so my salad is an Emerald City kraut salad with the almond butter, the, you know, the runny stuff off the top, because I use the other stuff that isn't the stuff that's not runny from the bottom to make things like my little frowny face sushi that James is going to eat one today with his food. And he's having the meat curry mushrooms, so the mushroom meat curry, seasoned mushroom, for his salad. So his salad's a little bit different than mine. His has celery in it, mine has cauliflower, but both of our salads have an awful lot of romaine lettuce, because romaine lettuce is on sale for $1.50 a head, and they're huge heads of romaine lettuce. They're beautiful. So yeah, that makes up the bulk of our salads, both of us. So anyway, off to talking about movies. So the wonder and the worry, I'll be talking about this at a later time. What's it about? Well, it's sort of about the politics of photography and how photography has changed for photographers, like the work, how it's set up. It's a bit about, it's a kind of a story about nepotism, really. I mean, it's about this National Geographic guy, photographer, and then now his daughter's doing it. And so it's kind of like a publicity for her. Anyway, but I'll talk about this at a later time. I just wanted to touch on it today because I watched it this morning and it is top of the stack, but I will be talking about it later. Wanted to mention at the beginning, the first thing they showed was pictures that the father, right, that worked for National Geographic photography, and I think he'd been an editor as well or something like that for, I don't know. Anyway, I was trying to pick up on it all, and it's a very well done, top of the stack documentary. It's 98 minutes long, longer than I expected it to be. I expected it to be an hour, so after an hour I'm like, when is this gonna end? Because I'm watching this while I'm working out. It's not really workout stuff, and I expect it to be shorter. So anyway, having said that, it's still great. There's a lot of great footage in here, and they open up with elephants being killed. Pictures from that the man had taken from the event that he witnessed, and he said it was horrifying for him seeing, you know, the elephants running in terror and whatever. And he said that it was very political at the time when he took those pictures. There were a lot of people that didn't want the photos released. And I was thinking, well, you know, that's politics for you, right? Like whoever was in charge at the time of editing and just the political climate at the time. He didn't mention the color of skin of the hunters at the time. If they were the great white hunter with a pith helmet, with a machine gun out there or whatever, then it probably would have made, they would have loved to show that stuff. But sometimes, some things that, like the daughter was saying in this, she realized over the course of her life and seeing different things and whatever, and doing photography, she's realized the importance of presence, of just being present. And yeah, so and anyway, so this has changed I didn't realize that National Geographic changed hands over, like that it was sold. So for a while there it was owned by Fox, Rupert Murdoch, and then now Disney. So this is a 2026 educational release, so presumably still now Disney owns National Geographic. And the people who worked on this documentary. Can you hear the babies? Yeah, very sweet.
They're hungry.
Very hungry. They sound like almost like crickets.
It sounds very cute.
Very cute. It's nice to have downies in the tree there. Wonderful.
It sounds as though it's more than one.
Yeah, I think they have a little family.
Good.
So that's wonderful. Anyway, I did like seeing the thing, and yeah, I highly recommend it. So, now, I guess I'll have to pull out from the stack. So we'll see now. I have to return Death in Paradise, so we'll get rid of that today, and we'll get rid of the Doctor Who out of the stack. So I may as well do Iron Eagle too while I'm at it. So we'll take care of the bottom stuff, and then we'll come back to this. So I'm not sure if we'll get to all of this stuff. But anyway, Doctor Who Season 2, I kept trying to explain that at first I was kind of wondering, why is this woman, the character name, so there's the Doctor Who from Season 2, he's here, and then his sidekick, his companion, is Belinda Chandra. And I was wondering, well, why do they have a Chandra? And then I was thinking, well, geez, you know, Chandra, that must be a huge family, because it seems like there's so many people with that last name. And so I mentioned that to James, and he said, well, it might be something like Smith, that it's not actually, there may be a lot of Chandras that are not related at all. So that may very well be. Anyway, that was just a little sideline. So, I was wondering, well, why is this woman his companion? So they have, and she's very, I mean, Belinda, that's not a Hindu name at all, right? So anyway, well, the bad guys in this that he's up against, well, it's one woman, well, she's not really a woman. Spoiler alert. But she's played by two different actresses because she's been split. So anyway, she's the Rani. So she's the queen, right? And I realized, oh, that's why as soon as that character was introduced as such, I thought, oh, well, of course, they have to have, his companion has to be, Chandra is great, right? It's common Hindu name. So that works out perfectly, because otherwise this would seem really, really racist. To have the person that the big bad as being the Rani. Anyway, so that's all I really wanted to talk about this. There were problems with this, besides the fact that he is not a very good Doctor Who. But having said that, the sidekick's okay. There's an awful lot of people of color in this, which I mentioned I'm kind of uncomfortable with how it seems like the makers of movies are trying to segregate the population, streamline. Oh, are you a part of this group? Are you a part of this group? Or whatever. And I don't know if they're doing that with Doctor Who, because like I've mentioned before, this is Disney now, which is great. And I'm a fan of Disney, and you know, I don't think that's a bad thing for National Geographic, and I don't think that's a bad thing for Doctor Who. I think it's great. So I'm just kind of wondering about it.
Hollywood's been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
Too much.
Too much. And so, but the fact that this guy, he's nice and he's gay, this Doctor Who, is, that I think that's a good thing. There were problems at the end with his daughter. So she disappears, nobody can remember her. So you're thinking, okay, well, then at the end when it writes itself, does it really write itself? Is it correct at the end? Because how can that very well be? How did she disappear? If this is the outcome at the end, which I'm not going to give away, you're going to watch it and you're going to see for yourself. If this is how this is resolved at the end, it doesn't make sense that she disappeared. So, and now with Doctor Who, along the way, there's so many things that you're like, okay, this doesn't make any sense at all. But since it's fast paced, you just kind of fly right by it and you go, whatever, it's Doctor Who. So, but at the end, it was too slow moving, and this was really obvious that this didn't make sense. And plus, it was right at the end. So, yikes, try a little harder. Iron Eagle 2. This is a total rip-off of Top Gun, and they did manage to find a fly guy that he looks quite a bit like Tom Cruise, actually.
A bit.
Well, at the bottom of the face for sure, right? If you have a hat on him and whatever.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, but reasonable facsimile. And honestly, I was watching this while working out, and I'm like, oh, I hate Top Gun.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, that'd be great though for having a lot of people in this area. This comes from Tabor Public Library. A lot of people in this area really like the air shows and stuff like that they do. And so I could see how this would end up in the Chinook Arch collection, right? And also, there's people that are making films and stuff like that at the university, learning how to do that sort of thing. So why not have the footage being shot while you're doing the air show? You can have the cameras in the cockpits and in the, you know, all around, and have these things being shot, and then have the instructor could say, okay, well, here's like so many hours of footage to the class. You can pick whatever you want and make whatever kind of movie you want, and it should work out fairly well. For, you know, that would be a great project, right? Because looking at this, it's like, well, their faces are covered from the mask, so you could have any kind of dialogue pumped in, and I think it'd be great. I wish that the university would have something like that. They would you know, everyone gets to make their own movie based on, oh, you get all this footage, and you can add other footage, but yeah, I thought that'd be great. Well, while I was working out, that's what I was thinking. Anyway, I don't like Top Gun, so I was watching this and going, well, you know, it sucks, but it doesn't really seem to suck any worse than Top Gun. And they definitely wouldn't have had the same kind of budget or anything like that. So that's why it got a little bit higher in the stack, because it's like, they managed to pull that off okay. Death in Paradise. So last I was talking about this, I was just near the end of the first disc, so I was on the first disc still, and it's 3 discs. So as the series goes on, like there's a guy who looks sort of South Asian, who's a killer, and I guess I should have given a spoiler alert for that. But his name is Alistair, so...
Good Scottish name.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I was commenting on how, why are all of the killers white guys or white women or whatever? But it does change over the, like throughout this. There's one death that seems to be more local or whatever, and one local woman is killed by another local woman.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so they both have dark skin.
Now the population is about 9/10 of what it was.
And then, I know, because anyway, and so in that episode though, there were also some bad white people, but honestly, I didn't like the addition of the kid at the end. Stupid, I don't want that. And it's just a really bad series. So there you go. I've dealt with that as far as I'm concerned. Those are done. So, and this, although it looks like I've put black TV here, this guy is not the main character, even though he's on the cover. So there you go. Anyway, Dark Winds. I guess I'll go from bottom to top, unless you want to watch the end of our Dark Winds.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Because
she's
I
spoiler
watched
alerting me. It won't make any difference.
Yeah. Maybe I won't mention anything about the end or anything like that, because he hasn't gotten there.
It doesn't make any difference. You can talk about it.
Dark Wind Season 4, and I'm surprised that there's already a Season 4. I am very glad that they're making this show. You can see there's BC and Canada mentioned at the end. So, although this is supposed to be set in Arizona,
and Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah, and it's set in the 1970s, and I didn't even notice for a long time because they're wearing the police uniforms, and I'm just like, too. Whatever, right? And then later on, we're like, wait, everyone seems to be wearing 70s stuff.
I was noticing the cars.
Yeah, so we hadn't read the back, and anyway. So this is about Navajo, and I like that they'll throw in there's some subtitles, right? Because they'll be speaking their language and then English and then right? And I like that.
Yeah.
It makes it more authentic. And I like this actor who's right on the front in the cover, and they put him right in the front because they know everyone likes him. He's a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah. And it's good to see Native people getting work in acting. So, especially in Canada.
In Canada and the United States.
Yeah. So that's good.
I don't mind.
Having said that, these other two down here, they're not very good actors.
Well,
and
one of the reasons why I love that guy in the movie is because the screen came alive when he was on.
Yeah.
And when they took him off, dead as a doornail.
Yeah, he can't pull the whole show along.
You can pull other actors along when they're on the same stages, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because he is good, but the story is very boring, and it's hard to. You're like, okay, so it has the actress from Run Lola Run in here. Linda Hamilton made a little guest appearance. She does. And so there's some good acting in this show, but you're watching it going, okay, so it's like this fatal attraction thing, and you're watching her going, but what can her motivation be? Are we just supposed to go, well, she's just crazy or whatever, and just like it doesn't really. There's some they need to work on the story. The dialogue is poor for the actors a lot of the time. They need to work on that too. That's not fair.
The main problem is the soap opera.
Yeah. Way too much drama, soap opera kind of drama. It drags and drags. It's so slow. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Classic moment. Hospital. Woman finishes her appointment, and then she has a soap opera moment where she's. Now it's only a nurse.
Yeah.
But she's tying up her time, talking about personal things in the clinic or hospital or whatever. I don't think that would happen in real life.
Yeah.
I'd like to think not.
So, a lot of the time, I'm going to mention something, and my co-host may be uncomfortable with this. I don't know. Some other people might be uncomfortable with that. A lot of the time, you look at National Geographic, they're saying in this they were concerned about how the people will see things or not see things or whatever in the future. Well, you know what? A lot of the time, people who are photographers or photojournalists or something like that, they think, well, seeing is believing. And so I'm going to show this, and then people will know I'm telling the story. And they're talking about the story. What are the stories of the future going to tell? How are people going to hear them? Whatever. People believe. They see what they believe, and they believe something, and that affects what they see. It doesn't work the other way around.
It doesn't. Shouldn't.
It shouldn't, but that's how it works. It's
the majority of people they're saying is, I'll see it when I believe it.
That's how it works. So, yeah, I don't know how the future will work that way either. But we were talking to, well, we were listening to. I went to a thing the local library here puts out on, I think it's the third Thursday of every month. There's a little meeting in the Eagle's Nest where sometimes they'll tell stories, sometimes they'll have crafts, sometimes, but it'll be local native person hosting it. And the first time I went, it was really great. I mentioned in here it was a woman doing crafts. It was a craft thing, and I loved it. I thought it was terrific, and the food that was provided was a berry cup. There were berries in a cup, and that's great, right? And so this time I was thinking, oh yes, I went to the library and I found out it was that day, because I didn't remember it was the third Thursday of every month at 1 o'clock, I think it is, 1 p.m. But I hadn't remembered that. And so when I went to the library, I found out, oh, that's going to be on today. Came back to get James because I thought maybe James will like this. And it was stories. So there was a guy who was a rancher. He was telling stories about the, I guess it would be wood buffalo, right? But he was telling stories about the buffalo. Anyway.
Buffalo.
And he was talking about how
I wouldn't call them wood buffalo. They came from Elk Island.
Okay.
And I think originally they were brought up to Wainwright from south of the border down Blackfeet Reservation.
So he was talking about how the buffalo, the white man was killing the buffalo just because they realized that the natives were too powerful. And so they were killing the buffalo to weaken the natives.
Yeah, the buffalo was their power.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
The natives were weak. and had I feel bad that about the lot of the natives in the United States and Canada, but had it not been for, they would have been taken over. No matter, things were, this thing about technology and time, they would have been taken over. It's just, anyway.
The technology sped it up. Eventually, the Muslims would have made it over here, and it wouldn't have gone well for the indigenous people. They would have the same trouble with diseases, except, the Muslims wouldn't have been nearly as good as the Christians and then secularists following. In terms of fighting diseases, the number of natives would, well, they just basically would have been wiped out, and Muslims wouldn't have cared one iota.
But a lot of aggressive personality types, they think that aggression is strength. It's not. So it's very hard for some people to, you see what you believe. And this man was talking about how you can see the piles, the photos of the buffalo bones and stuff by the railways and stuff like that. You can see these pictures. So he believed something, and that's what he saw in those pictures. But the people who were working, building the railroads, building the railway system, they had to eat something. What were they eating? What was around?
Well, they should have been shipping stuff in. They shouldn't have been wiping out buffalo.
No,
they wiped out a lot
but
of them. That was their way of the railroads of cheaping out on the thing. I'm sure many people, maybe in official capacity, were enthused about wiping out the buffalo. The idea that...
but not done to weaken the natives.
It would have been to settle them. Is that weakening them? They were going to get settled down anyway. The buffalo were going to get wiped out anyway. One of the most shockingly enlightened stories I ran across in my reading was some explorer. I don't know if it was Alexander Mackenzie, I think it was a little bit after. It was for Hudson Bay Company, trader really. And he was trading in the area north of where Pauline was born, just across the Peace River, area around Fairview, I believe. And already then, so this would be about 200 years ago, not when this guy was talking about, the railroad here in Canada was put in through 1885, I think. The ones in the United States, I think, came after the Civil War, 1865. There would have been one probably put through before then to San Fran to help bring people in for the gold rush or whatever. Gold rush was 18. Maybe there was or two, but this is before that. And the explorer was saying the buffalo are already thinning out. Maybe 1820. Huh? What's that? And then but guns had already come up there. One